Pass. All right, so for this one, we're gonna start learning how to read and then construct stems and leaf plot. For this one, stem and leaf is used to organize data. So we're gonna have a bunch of numbers. So it's just different ways of displays data. That's what statistic is about. You're gonna deal with a lot of numbers, right? When you get to those numbers, we have to figure out a way that we can display it, so we can read, so we can figure out what has happened the most and why. And so how we find the average, how we look at the data, so we can draw a conclusion. So another way to display data is called stems and leaves. Okay. This one is the stems. For this one is gonna be in your Unit 2 folder. Should be a notes folder. So all of these, you don't have to copy everything, but I want you to jot down something that like, oh, okay, this is something that I need to know, right? But you don't have to copy down word for word, but maybe jot it down some notes that would help you. So the stem is the tens, and then the leaf is the one place. Sorry, it's not writing clearly. So Mike wrote out all of the grades he made in science this 6 weeks. His grades are 78. So think about when we find the average. I gave you a list of numbers. Okay, so we have a bunch of numbers: 78, 94, 84, 90, 77, 86, 63, 95. All of these are his grade. Okay, he's gonna use these numbers to make stem and leaf. The same thing with reconstruction frequency table. The same thing that we use this to do frequency histogram. All right. So for this one, we're gonna plot the data. So the stems is the tenths, and the leaves is the ones place. So for the first one, if you look at 78, the number 7 will be the stem. And the second value is going to be the one place, which is the leaf. Okay, so that's how I would set it up. So based on the list of numbers, to create this one, I'm going to make a box. I split into 2 columns, stem and leaves. Okay, so when I look at this one, I'm seeing his score goes 78. So I'm looking for the lowest score, which is 63. So how do I construct this? I'm going to look for the maximum values. Then I'm going to also look for the minimum values from the list. And that's how I decide how many rows I should have for my table. So the lowest one is the 63 and the highest one is 95. Okay, so for the stem, the lowest values, the 10th that I'm looking for is the 6. So that's how I start with 6. The highest one is the 95. So that's why my highest value is 9. Because that's the 10th that I'm looking at. I'm not looking at the ones. So that's how I create the stem. Look for the highest and the lowest. Okay, so 6. I go from 63 all the way to 90. So I'm thinking about the 10. So 6, 7. So 60, 70, 80, and 90. Okay, so if we look at this one and the leaves at the second number. So this is how I'm going to do, 63, that's correct. So I'm going to do this is I split it up. The 10 will go to the stems and the 1s go to the leaves. So 63 is done. So now when you set it up, you don't have to go in order. I can start with 78, which is fine. So this is how I look at this. The 78 will go to my second row. 78, I can list out the 8. You don't have to write 78 again. You just list out. So this is how you do it. The 10 is already in the first columns. So you don't have to rewrite it. The only thing you have to do, think about when you make the tally, instead of doing the tally, you write down the one place in the second column, right? The same, like look at 94. I'm not going to write the 94 again because the 9 already in the column. What I would do is I'm going to write the 4 in the leaf, which is that 1 4 right here. So that's the 4 right here. And then what I can do again, I can start with the 84, right? I don't have to write the 8 because the 8 is already in the first column. What I would do, I'm going to write the 4. That's how we recording our values. I'm going to do the next one, the 90. Okay, I'm start with the 9. It's already there. And I'm just going to write a 0. So what you need to do is create the first column, write out all the tens, right? And then instead of do tally, 1 tally, 2 tally, you write down the 1. 77 is a 7. That's a 7. 86, the 8 I don't have to write again, but I'm just going to write out the 6. The 63 we already done. 95, same thing, the 9 and then the 5, right? 88, the A is right here, so I'm just going to write down the 8. 92, just write out the 2. 84, just write out another 4. 94, just write out 4. And then 89, okay? Then we have 78. Okay. The first one is 78. For this one, I organize this in order, but when you construct them the stems and the leaf plot, we just have to jot it down and we can rearrange that later. So any question on how I set up my plot? Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna ask you to create the plot later, but more right now, like understand the plot. So I kind of go opposite from the last time I taught you how to create the frequency table, frequency histogram, and then we read those. And I feel that it's kind of confusing sometimes. So I'm gonna try this differently. I'm gonna start with the graph, with the plot, ask question, and then you're gonna create the plot later. See whichever way is better for you. Okay, we can check in later. Number one, the question I'm gonna ask you to put in the chat, or you can unmute. It's up to you. The question is based on the plot. I'm gonna zoom in. Okay. The first question is how many grays are greater than 80? So I purposely cover the list because I don't want you to go back to the list and do it. I kind of want you to look at this table, look at this plot. How many grays are greater than 80? If you have to guess, if you have to look at this table, if you have to count how many that are greater than 80. So the key, look at the key. The first column is stand for the tens, and the second column is the 1. So Justin thing is 10. Okay, anyone else have a different numbers? How many grays are greater than 80? Okay, Adam thing is 10. How we know it's 10? Oscar thing is 10. 10 is good. You say yes, that's correct. Thank you. So how we know it's 10? What you do? Okay, I'm seeing someone still put in the chat. If you have it and you want to share, that's lovely. Okay, 10, good. We know it's 10 because look over here. This one is 84, 84, and 86, right? We don't have an 80, so I'm gonna start counting from here. There's 5. There's another 5, so total is 10. That's good. What is the range of his grade? Anyone remember the range? How we find the range? The range, I'm going to remind you, the range is maximum values minus the minimum. The highest minus the lowest. So with that, go back to the list. We can find the highest because this one is the last row. And we can look at this one, 95, right? Minus the lowest, which is on the top. So let's see. 32, okay, 32. So the range is going to be 32. Good. The next question, I'm going to ask you to join in and share with me how many grays are between 70 and 90. Between 70 and 90. So when I'm asking between, I'm not going to count 70 and I'm not going to count 90. I'm counting what is in between. So how many? We're going to start count, okay? So I'm not going to count 70, but we don't have 70 to count, so we're going to count. So we have 1, 2, okay? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to have 7. Again, I don't count the 90 because it's between 70 and 90. Yes, that's correct, Justin. So the next one is which grays occur most often? So the one that occur most often, we can call another name. We can call this one as the mode, right? But which gray is occur most often from the plot? It's possible to have more than one answer. 84 and 94 because it happened twice. The other one has only happened once. So we look for the one that's repeated it. So I'm looking for the first row, nothing repeat. The second one, nothing repeat. Looking for the third one, I have 2 numbers repeat. Look for the last one, these 2 repeated. So that's how I count that one. Okay, the last question. Mike scored 100 this week. What is the new range of his grade? So he can have a new grade, 100. So what is the new range? Can you please put in the chat? Okay, so for those who just got a paper, again, we start with the lowest values. Okay, so the 10 go into the first column. The 1s go into the second column. When I do this, I kind of split up the values. The 8 is already there. I'm not going to repeat it. Just write the 1s again. The 104, same thing over here. The 10 goes here. The 4 go to the second. Okay, let's do 89. The 8 is already here, so I can do the 9. 123. So for this one, 100 is here, so I'm have to do a space and change the color a little bit, so it's going to be 23. And then we can do 118, 125, 101, 99, the 9, and then I can put down the 9, 108, 99, there's another 99, and then 96, just a 6. So for now, when we do this, it's not in the order. That is fine. You can jot it down, and then we can always rearrange it. Okay. So if we have to do this in order, I can cross this out, and I can redo this in the order that I want. So I can do 5, 6, 9, 9. For now, it doesn't have to. I just wanted you to construct it. It's okay. It's not in order. If we can do in order, then we can do 1, 4, 8, 18, 23, 25. So it's okay if it's not in order. I don't mind. Okay. Questions for me on how we construct this. You still copy this? How long can you hold your breath? For me, 27 seconds. let's see, 25. Okay, I have 25. I have 20. I have, whoa, 37. Jayla, that's awesome. 37, 30, 23, 33, 22, 21. Anyone else? 34. Okay. 33. 20. Okay. 26. Okay. 20. Okay. 21. We have 21 and then 27. Okay. Cool. All right. I think with this I'm gonna ask you to use this, and you're gonna create a stamped and plot. Okay. So 2 things I'm gonna ask you to do. And if you're done, we have 12 minutes. Okay. If you're done early, the time is yours. I want you to create this. Okay. And what I will do is I'm going to ask you to email me this data plot. You're going to create stem and plot based on these values. The second assignment you're going to do is your practice is at Khan Academy. You will go to Khan Academy. There's 1 assignment for you to do. So 2 things you need to do for today. Email me this stem and plot. Do it on a piece of paper, take a picture, email it to me. And then go to Khan Academy and do the assignment in Khan Academy, okay? So I'll leave this on for you so you can copy down the numbers. These are so this one is the tens, and this one is in the ones, okay? So keep that in mind. And these are the data we got from the class. If anyone else recording your breath and then you want to add it to it, let me know. The last one is 27. Let me erase this. I will rewrite this. 27, okay? This one is 26. Okay. So go ahead and do that. So 2 things. I'm going to put in right here, 2 things. Email me. So construct this and email it to me. Okay? And do Khan Academy. All right, for those who kind of get kicked, it was like in and out of Schoology, or whenever you was just absent, you miss anything, keep in mind, just go back to the notes and watch the video that I attach to it. I normally attach video to the notes at the end of the day, every day, okay? All right,